Ohio State, I guess I shouldn't be dreading it because they did win, but they won 79-67. That's nice. They beat a team that they lost an 18-point lead on earlier this season. So this is the part of the show where I get depressed and talk about my team that is going to give me some false hope here because Evan Mahaffey decided to score, even though he's not decided to score any other times this season. And just this game, he's like, "Don't fire my coach," which I'm right there with you. I love Chris Holtmann. I want him to be the coach, but things just aren't looking good. They break the 3-game losing streak. I don't know. I'm kind of going through it. Anthony, why don't you start talking about the game? Because I'm kind of not making very much sense.
So I don't have a ton of notes, unfortunately, to bail you out, but I will say Penn State, as much as they were a get-wrong opponent for Ohio State earlier this season, they are a get-right type opponent if you're on a 3-game skid, which Ohio State was. So there's no better team to, figure yourself out against than Penn State, who themselves is a bit lost on both sides of the ball. Roddy Gayle does, what he's been doing all season. He's a great bucket getter for you guys. Mahaffey, former Penn State transfer, which is why he did what he did, right? You got him from Penn State. So that's, he bailed you guys out. It's good to get back on, in the win column. Ohio State, I think they have a little bit of, they really need to work on piecing it together, I guess. I think that they have opportunities in front of them to get good signature wins, but because they actually have one of the harder schedules ahead of them in the Big Ten. They still have to travel to Wisconsin. They get Purdue at home. They have to travel to Michigan State. They get Illinois at home. So they still have a lot of opportunities to get a signature win. And overall, they're a team that like the metrics seem to like pretty well. I think Torvik has them as 32nd ranked defense, 45th ranked, or 32nd ranked offense, 45th ranked defense. So they're a team that can do some interesting stuff, but just can they be consistent, right? Really, that 3-game skid showed a lot of stuff that was kind of a little bit of an ugly side for them. So we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, these last 4 games, it's been the shooting. Bruce Thornton, Roddy Gayle on this one from 3-point, they go 1 for 10 in this one combined. I'm glad they won without, spectacular 3-point shooting or even average 3-point shooting. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's 4 games in a row where Roddy Gayle and Bruce Thornton just have not shot well from 3-point land. And, early on in the season, I remember when IU wasn't shooting very well from 3-point land, they started shooting less than 10 3-pointers a game altogether. And I was like, okay, that works for them. I would love to see Ohio State do this now. If, Bruce Thornton and Roddy Gayle could combine shoot less than 4 3-pointers, I think I might want to see that because at the end of the day, they're not doing a very good job of shooting them. And even Dale Bonner in this one, the backup point guard for them, he went 1 for 4 from 3-point land. Just let Jamison Battle shoot 3-pointers and nobody else, because Jamison Battle can hit them. Nobody else can right now. Get your confidence back, shoot 4 a game and, maybe make some. But at the end of the day, it was the Ohio State defense in this one that saved them. I mean, they locked down Kanye Clary, only 13 points for him. Nick Kern, he only had 12 points. Ace Baldwin, he only had 10 points. But the big thing for them is they only let him have 1 steal. They didn't turn the ball over like Ace Baldwin's been doing a lot this season. So, I'm hoping this is some momentum for Ohio State. But when you start the game, what was it? I don't think Penn State scored for the first 7 minutes in this game. Yeah, they started the game on a 16-0 run on Penn State. So when you start the game on a 16-0 run, you should win by double digits, and thankfully they did. But Kent, what were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I actually didn't watch much of this game either. I apologize for that. But with it being the last game, it doesn't seem like you're very excited about it either. But here's what I will say about this game, though. Penn State on Tuesday is the only team in the conference that has beaten Wisconsin. And then they came out in their next game and your Ohio State Buckeyes beat them. So you beat the team that beat the team. So basically, right now, Ohio State is the best team in the conference. Are you with me on this, JR?
I wish.
I believe that completes the Big Ten circle of suck.
It does. It does.
Is that the one that did it? Was the Penn State win over Wisconsin?
The Penn State win over Wisconsin was the one we were missing.
Excellent. That's what we wanted.
But yeah, good revenge game for Ohio State. I feel like I have more confidence in Ohio State than you do right now, JR. I feel like they're still a decent team. And like Anthony was saying earlier, the Big Ten is kind of down this year. So this is a great year for them to just be okay and pick up some wins here at the end of the year and still make the NCAA tournament. After last year, you got to be excited about that after last year, I feel like.
Well, I did something I should have done this week, and this is a problem for me in my life. And my two buddies here that can help me through my addiction here. I went back and I watched like 2000 to 2010 Ohio State basketball highlights when they had like Greg Oden and Mike Conley and all those guys.
Mark Titus.
Yeah, Mark Titus. Yeah, Mark Titus. He was a star on the court. Yeah, I went back and I did that. John Diebler, all those guys, and basically the Thad Matta era is what I did. It wasn't even like 2000 to 2010, but basically the Thad Matta era. I went back and I watched highlights, and I just got sad because I thought to myself, man, this is the Ohio State basketball era that I loved and was awesome, and now it's just like I watch this Ohio State team and I like all of these players. I want them to do well. I like Chris Holtmann. I want him to do well. But they don't do well. They don't shoot well. Bruce Thornton, I'll give him credit. He didn't run around like with his head cut off this game like he did in the last one. He had 6 assists in this one, only 2 turnovers. So, props to him. But I mean, Ohio State, they're not going to win if they don't start shooting better. I mean, they lost the 3 games before this because they had poor shooting, and thankfully they played good enough defense against Penn State in this one that their primary scorers couldn't, go crazy and win the game for them. So I don't know. Am I wrong to leave Ohio State out of the conversation for the 4th best team in the conference?
I'm going to say
I don't
no.
think I'm wrong.
I don't want to be mean, but no.
No, please be mean. Please be mean.
I think they're an aspiring.
It helps validate my feelings.
I think that right now their expectation would be about a 500 team in conference play. Right. I think if they get a 10-10 record, that's about what you would expect for this Ohio State team. Can they weasel out a couple extra wins and make their way up to 11-9 or 12-8? Maybe. But top 4 team that's tough. There's a lot of teams vying for that slot.
But that's my thing. Like, will 20-11 get you into the tournament this year? In the Big Ten. I think in the Big Ten past, yeah, but I don't think it will this year.
I think you have to have an above 500 record or if you have a sub 500 record in Big Ten play, I don't think you get in the tournament this year.
I don't think you can either. I think you're right. Yeah.
I'm looking at Ohio State's schedule right now. If you guys win your next game at Nebraska, I'm all in on the Buckeyes because no one wins at Nebraska. Nobody.
I had somebody tell me on Twitter, they were like, "Oh, they play at Nebraska next game. That should be an easy win." And I was like, "You're not paying attention to the Big Ten this year, are you?"
Totally.
Yeah, no. Ken Palm has them losing their next 4 games, and then I forget what it is after that. But I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm looking at this here. They lost to Indiana at Indiana. I don't think it's likely that they lose to Indiana at home, but it could happen if Khalil Ware is back. That's a really tough matchup for Felix Okpara. Maryland, they should beat Maryland at home, but I'm not going to say that they will because Jameer Young's really, really good, and he could go off in that one. They're going to lose to Wisconsin at Wisconsin. They're going to lose to Purdue. They're going to lose at Michigan State. They might beat Minnesota at Minnesota. We'll see. I don't feel confident.
No, they will. They will.
I don't feel confident in it.
Minnesota's going downhill fast.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll take your word for it and give me some hope. I mean, I look at this and the for sure wins that I see on the schedule are at Rutgers. They should win, but that's also the rack. So, who knows? I look at Michigan at home against Michigan. They just lost at Michigan. So I don't know. I don't see any guarantee wins on the rest of that schedule, and that scares me. So
guaranteed wins? I mean, for sure, Michigan coming to town, that's a win. And I would say Minnesota and I would say Indiana at home. Those are 3 at least. I don't know. Can't give you much else than that.
You're more optimistic than me. Anthony, you be the decider. Do you see any guaranteed wins here?
Oh, he's on mute.
Oh, you're muted, Anthony.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I said let me pull up their schedule. I was crunching some numbers for Nebraska home and away just to satisfy you here. Michigan at home. Maryland at home is they're pretty bad on the road. That would be. Yeah, those are really the only two guaranteed ones. Other ones, they're certainly going to be 60-40, but the ones that you really think you're gonna clean out, that would be those two.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks for listening to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.